I often think about my dreams, my goals, my desires, and my wish. For me, what I want in this life is to be a big time director, man. I want people to wait for my movies in anticipation, like how I'm waiting to see what Christopher Nolan does with Oppenheimer, right? That level of success. Sometimes I think about it and you think about, is it possible? Is it realistic to have those goals? How many people get to achieve that? You look at YouTube, being a YouTuber, you're probably looking at people like Mr. Beast and you're like, how is that possible? My first love, my first dream was to be a music producer as big as Dr. Dre. But one of the things I soon realized is to be that big of a producer, you need artists to work with. And that was always difficult because if you do not lay out for people how they'll succeed, nobody is really willing to work with you and stuff like that. And the time and effort that it takes to develop that craft, and then the need of having money in your life, it's like it's not realistic to set forth to like, oh, I'm gonna achieve this goal. It's almost impossible. And here I found myself back pursuing another dream, another goal of being a movie director, being this big ass Hollywood, call it Hollywood, because nowadays it's not even Hollywood, it's just this director who with a vision, and realizing how big of a mountain that task is. Recently there was a festival that was run in the city that I live in, where you had 2,200 people participating, and this is 2,200 filmmakers. If you want to say 2,200 people competed in a weekend to create short films, how many people are hungry enough to make movies? How many people are doing this? And you start to realize how impossible of a dream it is, because out of all these millions, you have to be the one. You have to be the Christopher Nolan, the Martin Scorsese, the Ryan Coogler. It's like how much work and how much effort goes into you being the one. As I think about it, I'm like, how crazy, how amazing do the stars need to align for you to achieve this level of greatness, this level of success, and how obsessed should you be? And I realized that I work hard, to be where I'm at. I work hard. Like I wouldn't call myself a slacker, but I realize just the amount of effort that has to go into making it, because right now for me, life is about, I'm in school, I'm doing all these things, but I just feel not fulfilled. I don't feel like I'm doing enough. I turn 30 pretty soon, and I'm like, it's not about like, oh, I turn 30. It's like I want to do so much that by the time that I'm 35, I'm doing more. I'm doing more than what I'm doing right now. Like what I'm doing right now just feels so small. The issues that I deal with like right now, it feels so small. Like right now, I struggle with things like, damn, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to have car payments? Like I want different level of problems where it's like, all right, how do we make a movie that changes the world? How do we tell a story in the most humbling, but you create that feeling, that level of success? It's almost an impossible dream, and I'm not making this video so that you feel like, oh, there's another motivational thing, but I'm starting to think and realize that in order to go to a different level, you just have to be different, man. Like you just have to think different. You just have to move different. You just have to do things a little bit different. It's like you gotta be a little bit crazy. You gotta be a little bit out of your mind to achieve certain things, because I've followed the realistic path. I've followed the do this, do that, do this, be consistent. You know how when you look at YouTube advice, like be consistent, post your content like this, do this, be nice to people. You're like, nah, man, that's not it. Because no matter how much I'm doing what you're telling me to do, it's not getting me the results that I desire. It's not getting me to the level that I want to get. It's not allowing me to express myself in a way that I know that I can express myself. And one thing that I've realized ever since I came to North America is how a lot of times the issue is never about ideas. The issue is always about something else that has nothing to do with the ideas that we want to bring forth, the ideas that we want to, when you look at these platforms like this YouTube thing, like for me, the goal is not to have like billions of people loving what I do, but it's having billions of people see what I create. And that's where I'm at, where it's like, man, I want that impossible dream. I want people, I want those, I want to be able to put out something like what Mr. Beast does that gets millions of views, but that's impactful, you know what I mean? Like that creates something for you whereby when you leave, you don't feel robbed of your time. Like I don't want time wasting anymore. And that's just something that I've been feeling as I've been creating and as I've been moving, as I've been asking myself, what do I want? Do I just want to be another short film creator? I know it's massive levels. I used to be the person who dreamed of telling stories to now where I make short films, but I feel like I've also reached that plateau where it's like, man, I got ideas, man. I got movies in my head that I want to create, and I got all these things that I want to do. How do I get there, and how do I achieve that? How do you achieve that impossible dream? And I feel like for me, that's the next question is, how do you achieve the impossible dream? And I think in order to, it reminds me of that chant in the Batman where it sounded like, in order to do the impossible, you gotta do the possible impossible. You gotta do the possible until the impossible is possible, is what I felt like that chant was. And I think that is something that rings true. In order to achieve the impossible dream, you gotta do the possible until you achieve the impossible.
How can you move faster than possible, fight longer than possible, without the most powerful impulse of the spirit? The fear of death.
And nothing is impossible. You know that statement, if you can dream it, if you can see it, you can achieve it. That's the purpose of this video. And I feel like whatever it is you're pursuing, whatever your goal is, whatever it is your calling is, whatever you wake up and be like, this is what I want to do. For me, I used to chase money, man. I used to want money, but the more I chase it, the more it feels like it runs away. And I understand that we only need money because it helps us pursue the things what we want to pursue. But I just want to live a different life, man. I just want to achieve different things. Like just imagine a world where money doesn't affect our decisions. Just imagine a world whereby you express yourself and you tell these stories, these beautiful stories, man. Come on, we can do this. Yeah. Anyway, as filmmakers, I hope wherever you are, you never give up on your dream. I want you to know that it's very possible. You just have to do what you don't do, If you keep doing the same thing, you will always achieve the same results. Like nothing will ever change. Planning, we can speak about it. We can talk about it. But in order to achieve the level of success that you desire or whatever, if it's impossible, then don't do the possible. Do the possible until the impossible is possible. And don't be afraid to run into the fire, man, because the only way is through. I've tried many ways of going around. I've tried many ways of thinking through. I've tried many ways, man. And I'm starting to understand that the only way is through. This is craft business, man. You got to understand the craft, but you got to understand the business. And you just have to, it sucks that the people with the opportunity, they can only choose from a certain few. And to be chosen, it's crazy the amount of things that you have to do. But I'm just at a point now where I'm like, the craft just gotta speak for itself. I gotta speak for myself, and I gotta handle the business. If we handle the business, we can achieve the impossible.